ट्रेडिशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट के बाहर भी कुछ एक्सप्लोर करना चाहिए।
COVID was the duration when I understood ki, there should have been a out of the way or unconventional investment option also available. If the market is volatile, this area will be slightly safer. I feel ki I have control on where I'm investing. That is where I've understood about P2P. I can choose whom I want to lend money. I have multiple factors to consider, not having any linkage towards the market, understanding risk to reward ratio.
Every rupee we earn has a story of early mornings, late nights, bold dreams, and sometimes skipped vacations. Welcome, everyone, to our first episode of Real People, Real Stories, where real people share their journeys of breaking free from old habits, taking bold decisions, and taking control of their financial destiny. Today's guest isn't a finance guru. He is not a stock market pro. He is just like you, who decided to take control of their money story. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy this conversation. Harshil, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Rajat.
So, Harshil, before we start, if you can tell us a bit about yourself,
Sure.
what do you do, where are you from?
So my name is Harshil, and I'm based out in Mumbai itself. I work as an IT professional in one of the pharmaceutical company.
Okay. When you started investing, if you can tell me, about what was the first investment decisions that you made? How did you decide, where to invest? Was it research? Was it a friend who told you, or reel that you watched?
Like all of us, have started my investment during early days of my career, and it wasn't truly an investment. It was a tax saver strategy where I've invested into FDs and typical stuff, LICs and all. Those were the days when I understood that okay, investment is also necessary for life. So
Yeah.
answering to your question, FD was my first investment.
What is your typical approach to money? Are you a saver, planner, or are you a risk taker?
uh, while I've started gathering knowledge, understood from different people like you and definitely my wife. So I've understood that planning is the key, and definitely saving also requires in life. But my main objective is to retire early, and I have plans for my second phase of life. So that is my current motive for investing in the various verticals.
Wow, awesome. I mean, planning is something when it comes. I mean, wealth planning something is a very important
Yeah,
skill that people need to acquire over
correct.
the period of
Yeah.
their life, right?
Yeah,
And also a very difficult skill.
definitely. Yeah.
Correct. Okay. So you said that you have been trying different
Yeah.
avenues of investment and diversification of your portfolio, right? When was that time जब आपको लगा कि यार ट्रेडिशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट के बाहर भी कुछ एक्सप्लोर करना चाहिए?
Good question, Rajat. So I think the COVID was the duration when I have understood ki, there should have been a, out of the way or unconventional, investment option also available, or rather I would say I am looking for the non-conventional options, where all the products I have at least learned and I was aware of were one or other way were linked to the market or news, or anything which is happening in the globally in the world.
Right.
So I think that is where I've understood about P2P, where I believe it's not having any linkage, at least so far I know, that on towards the market. If some news comes up, or recession comes out, or something like what is going on right now happens, so I would say P2P is the factor where I would say that at least those money where I've invested would be a little bit safe than the other areas.
Okay, that sounds amazing. But जब आप एक्सप्लोर कर रहे थे
Hmm.
अलग अलग avenues which are not linked to the market, why did you choose P2P lending? Because there are other instruments also which are there, uh, which could have helped you diversify as
Hmm.
well.
So one reason was कि यहाँ पे I have the choice. I mean, I can choose whom I want to lend money, I have multiple factors to consider, like whom I am lending, उसका स्कोर क्या है, इन विच बैकग्राउंड ही इज वर्किंग, मुझे कितने 10 ईयर में इन्वेस्ट करना है. सो आई फील कि आई हैव कंट्रोल ऑन वेयर आई एम इन्वेस्टिंग. So that was one factor. I feel this is a better instrument for investment. And definitely, as I mentioned, there are no dependency on the market. So if the market is volatile, this area will be slightly safer.
When I personally am exploring, how I can make use of my money, right? I consider all different factors. Market definitely could be one of
Correct.
the factors. There are other risk factors associated to that.
Mm.
Were you not worried that if it's a new option,
Yeah.
correct, to lend your money or
Yeah.
fund borrowers? Were you not worried about the risk factors, default factors, compliance
Yeah.
factors?
So, a good question, Rajat. So, I would say I've always invested after understanding risk to reward ratio. Definitely, if my risk is high, I should also expect return higher. So, those research I have done, and the most important part I have, as I mentioned, कि मेरे पास freedom है मुझे कितना invest करना है, और locking period and all is not that much high compared to other instruments.
Mm.
And there are other factors also, like मुझे parameters है available, filters है available, so I can decide. I have the scores as well, so based on that I can decide whom I want to invest.
Got it. Perfect. So I think I understand. I have the answer to the next question, but I still want to ask
Yeah.
you. You usually use manual lending to lend your money, or do you use lump sum?
I prefer manual, Rajat, because there are plenty of, I would say, the filters available. Like first thing, I believe LDC score is the key, where it integrates various parameters. जब आपने वो score वहाँ डाला है, I understand कि that is considering many facts. उसने उसका background check and all, so those things I have. Then another option is कि मुझे 10 year कितना रखना है. So I will diversify my portfolio from 3 to 4 months to 5 to 6 months to 7 to 8 months, and I can choose a range of the money I want to lend, from starting from 250 to I think maximum 4,000. So
Mm-hmm.
this plenty of this tools, or I can say filters, gives us a better clarity. So from top to down I'll search कि भाई मुझे किस में कितना डालना है. In fact, you have one very good option कि वो बंदा वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल है या फिर उसका ओन बिजनेस है, तो आई कैन डिसाइड दैट फैक्टर एज वेल कि इफ ही इज इनटू इन ओन बिजनेस, तो वहाँ डेफिनेटली मेरा रिस्क ज़्यादा है, बट रिवॉर्ड भी बेटर है. इफ इज गेटिंग समथिंग गुड रिटर्न्स, तो मुझे भी ज़्यादा जल्दी पैसा मिलेगा. सो
Right. So if I want to summarize, you kind of chose manual lending because you had various parameters for you
पैरामीटर्स,
to
या
select the borrower कि
करेक्ट,
self-employed है, salaried है,
या
LDC score क्या है,
या
and I'm sure there are other parameters that you also look at.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट.
Correct. Okay. So you prepare your own strategy.
Yeah, I prepare own strategy, and based on this variety of filters I can choose whom I want to invest.
Okay, very interesting. So now that you have made you have lent your money to a borrower or a
Mm.
loan, how do you track your portfolio?
So I keep on looking at the dashboard. You have a very nice dashboard जहाँ पे मेरा so far how much money I've invested versus मेरा अब तक का return क्या है, versus मुझे average कितना return मिला in terms of percentage. So on a single screen I am able to track. So daily, maybe once I open the app and I can see मेरा what is my statistics of particularly into Linden Cup's portfolio.
Okay.
So that gives very convenient to me as a investor कि भाई मुझे बार बार I don't have to see the graphs and like our trading and all. मुझे I have to spend minimum amount of time and I can track by what is my current status.
Do you face any challenges in tracking the portfolio? Do you want more information in certain way?
I believe one improvement which can be done is I'm not able to track my inflow. So daily, I mean, as in when how much money I'm going to get within this month or week, or so if there is an option कि मैं देख सकूँ कि भाई मेरा ये week में how much money I'm going to get, so I can plan accordingly. If I have
Okay.
some plans like my personal plans or investment plans, so if that is available, if that is made available into the same dashboard, so that would be quite intuitive and informative as an investor.
So you're saying that if you can predict
Yes,
potentially how much
how much
principal or
money,
interest
yeah,
is
correct,
expected to come
come,
daily, monthly,
yeah.
like that, it'll be
So
easier.
since we keep on investing, or we don't know, there could be a sudden expense also. So
Hmm.
if let's say for next month, if I'm not ready for an investment, so I'll know by mera itna paisa aane wala hai, so I'll save some part of it and I'll minimize my investment, or it may be a reverse as well.
Right. I think that's a good feedback. Thank you,
Yeah,
Harshil. When we are talking about returns and portfolio, uh, one very interesting thing that
mm,
happens in P2P lending,
yeah,
which you cannot see, I'm not boasting,
yeah,
you cannot see anywhere, is that you keep receiving these repayments on your bank
yeah,
account. महीने में 10-15 तो हो ही जाता है, depending on your
yeah,
portfolio, right?
correct, correct.
Where so how it usually works is that EMI due date is fixed, correct?
Mm,
So the borrower may pay on that day. In case there are also certain times जहाँ पे borrower पहले भी पे करता है, कुछ होता है जो
mm,
डिले भी करते हैं.
yeah,
There are daily installment loans also जहाँ पे हर दिन
yes.
installment आता है. So does it feel overwhelming or does it feel rewarding to see your account being credited every now and then?
Yeah, initially it was very overwhelming because when I looked at my bank app and I see a lot of transactions coming in, so it was very difficult for me to track by मेरा कहाँ से क्या आ रहा है. So later on every week I used to calculate and summarize कि भाई मेरा इतना इतना पैसा has been already recovered, and uh, that weekly मेरा इतना बना है, next week इतना बना है, और overall month इतना बना है. So that's why my feedback to your earlier question, कि
Got
भाई if that inflow, if somehow I can trace, then it would be a very good option in your app.
Understood. So, feedback well taken, Harshil. I think we tried our best to kind of make the portfolio
Yeah,
very intuitive. We also started, so we took a lot of feedback from our investors like you, right? Where they wanted to understand how their portfolio is
yeah.
performing, how the transactions are happening, where they're receiving money from. And these feedback like this also will definitely help us. So, but what I wanted to ask is and understand, which will also help a lot of our
Mm,
users when you receive these repayments,
mm,
the principal, the interest, right, from multiple borrowers,
correct.
what do you do with it? Do you reinvest or do you relend the entire money, principal only, interest only? How do you manage that or strategize that?
So that actually depends on the situation. Let's say if I have some expenses planned, or due to some unexpected expenses that month or week, if it's not loving me, then I'll save my money. But most of the time, whatever earnings I have, I'll definitely try and reinvest into the app, since I've been getting good returns onto it. So but to be very honest, it would be depending on the situation, that if that allows me, then I'll reinvest. If it's not, then I'll use for my personal expenses.
Understood. Are there any NPAs in your portfolios or people who have defaulted? If yes, how do you kind of tackle that?
So far, I don't have,
Okay.
but if at all, then I would take as a learning. I would see what parameters have went wrong, and I'll see if I can eliminate. Maybe next time when I'm investing, but that would be definitely a risk. I'll have to take, since the reward factor is also high here. I understand that risk is also high here. So since I'm having higher risk, the reason I'm getting higher return, so that would be always risk to reward ratio I have to consider.
Perfect. Great, Harshil. I think thank you so much for
Yeah,
sharing your experience and
yeah,
strategies. I'm sure it'll help others also. A couple of more questions that I want to understand.
sure.
In the long scheme of things, आप P2P lending को आपकी investment strategy के अंदर कैसे देखते हो long term?
I would see P2P lending definitely as a long term investment strategy, because the only thing which took my attraction for investment is because definitely risk ज़्यादा है, reward भी ज़्यादा है, but what I feel unique here is कि उसका market के ऊपर dependency नहीं है. आज सपोज कोई बड़ा न्यूज़ आ गया, या you know how gold prices cross the 1 lakh bar. So if somebody has announced something, there are key players in the industry who runs the show. तो उसके एक स्टेटमेंट में ऊपर आई डोंट वाई माई पोर्टफोलियो कि भाई एक ही स्टेटमेंट के ऊपर मेरा पोर्टफोलियो डाउन चला जाए। तो यहाँ पे आई फील लिटिल बिट सेफर डेफिनेटली। ये यहाँ पे भी रिस्क तो है ही, ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ देयर इज नो रिस्क, बट एटलीस्ट मार्केट के ऊपर नहीं है। सो आई एम ट्राइंग टू बैलेंस माई पोर्टफोलियो कि डेफिनेटली मैंने एस आई पीज और स्टॉक्स और गोल्ड सब में इन्वेस्ट कर रखा है, बट ये ऐसा फैक्टर है जिसका उसके ऊपर डिपेंडेंसी कम है या उसकी वॉलेटिलिटी का इसके ऊपर इम्पैक्ट नहीं है इतना। सो डेफिनेटली टू बैलेंस माई ओवरऑल पोर्टफोलियो आई विल keep on investing into P2P.
Understood. Cool. Okay. If you had to describe P2P in 3 words, how would you do it?
I would say go for it if you want to try something new and explore, but yeah, subject to your appetite of taking risk. If you have good appetite of taking risk, and also reward is also high, but always consult your wealth manager or do your own research and then invest. But I would definitely say one should give a try to balance out their portfolio.
Well, Harshil, thank you so much for your time and
Thanks.
sharing your
Thanks.
experiences with us.
Yeah.
I hope that this session was helpful to all our users. We'll be back with more real people and real stories all about P2P lending.